What's up, guys? Welcome back to part number 2 of this flight across the Atlantic. In part 1, we completed the first half of our flight, which was from the London City Airport to Shannon, Ireland. From here, we are going to be going from Shannon, Ireland, all the way over to JFK in this wonderful A318. And if you haven't catched the first part of this video, I'll give you a quick rundown. This is the smallest aircraft that Airbus produces, the A318. It's meant for more shorter flights, but British Airways operates this aircraft across the Atlantic Ocean as a 32-seat British Airways business class aircraft. It's all business class seats, and it is meant to get from the heart of the financial downtown of London to New York, where they can get their financiering done and all of that fun stuff. So we are loaded up with passengers. This is just a quick stopover flight. It's basically loading up more fuel and maybe taking on a little bit more cargo. But other than that, that is all this plane does. It's a really quick turnaround. So let's hop in the cockpit and complete this turnaround. Once again, we will be using our handy dandy co-pilot. So we're going to be coming back to our right CDU here and enabling the checklists. And we'll have the pilot and the co-pilot work that out as
let's
we
start with the cockpit preparation
do other stuff.
checklist.
Batteries,
Both
electrical power,
on, and the external power is on.
navigation lights,
Set on.
engine master,
Both off.
engine mode selector,
Check normal.
landing gear lever,
Checked.
parking brake,
Off.
flaps,
Check position.
speed brake lever,
Check retracted.
thrust levers,
Idle.
transponder mode,
Checked. Standby.
radio control panel,
Set on.
ECAM recall,
Checked.
anti-skid,
On.
flight director,
On.
emergency lights,
Set.
no smoking signs,
Set on.
anti-ice,
Off.
probe window heat,
Auto.
air condition,
Checked.
ventilation panel,
Is checked.
electric panel,
Checked.
fuel pumps,
Set on.
hydraulics,
Is checked.
brake pressure,
Set.
ground proximity warning system,
On.
electronic flight control system,
On.
ADIRS,
Set to nav.
emergency equipment,
Is checked.
checklist complete.
Cool. Now that checklist is complete, we'll finish what we need to do here. And what we need to do here is set up our FMC to get us to where we need to go today. This is actually going to be quite a bit shorter route than we're used to today. Usually go a little bit more northbound on the tracks that they have defined over the Atlantic Ocean, but today they're pretty far south, and it's going to give us a nice direct route right on into New York. So we're going to set up our FMC right now with all of the data. Actually, before we do that, we're going to load up all of our fuel and passengers. So we are staying with 30 passengers, and our zero fuel weight is going to be 47.4. Oops. Is it 40? No, it's sorry. It's 7.9. My bad. 7.9. And then our fuel is going to be 19.0 for the fuel. It gives us that, so I think we're actually, so sometimes between my planning software and the maximum, it can be a little bit off our, oops, what did I just do? My bad. Continue. No, I didn't want to do this. Stop it. Okay. So, like I said, sometimes it can be a little off. So we're 0.39 over max takeoff weight. So what I need to do is I think I actually need to, let's see, let's put that at 7.5. There we go. Okay, that works. So sometimes there's a little discrepancy between the flight plan, the maximum that the virtual can do, and what it can actually do. So we're just going to load it up as is, basically giving us a maximum takeoff weight, a nice large maximum takeoff weight today, as that's all set up. So with that in mind, we can now come back over here and get everything set up. So we're going to go to our initialization page here. So we're going from EINN, oops, I forgot another N there, N to KJFK. Boom. Oh, wrong one. Let's try that again. I did that. EINN/KJF. Okay, there we go. That was weird. We're not going to do any of the predefined routes. We're going to line the IRS. Our flight number today is still BAW1. So we're Speedbird 1. Cost index today, I think we have a calculated cost index of 30. And our cruise today is going to be level 360. Although when we get to the North Atlantic track, which will be about a half an hour after takeoff, we're actually going to be climbing to flight level 370 while we're in the crossing. And then we'll, once we come out of the crossing, we'll go up to flight level 380 for the rest of the flight. So the initialization page is done. Our block fuel today is, like I said over here, 19.0, so 19.0 in the block page. That will do all of our calculations here for fuel predictions. We have 20 minutes of extra fuel because we're not planning for bad weather, so we should be able to get pretty much straight in, do what we need to do, and all that fun stuff. So let's go and now do our departure. So we'll be departing off of runway 6. That's the correct runway, by the way. I made a double check of that. Our departure is the UNBE2 Alpha. Yunbi, maybe. Okay, Yunbi, and I'm just gonna fill this up to the nat track because I'll fill in the nat track as we're climbing. So from Unbig, we need to go to Bexit, B-E-X-E-T. Yeah, is that right? Bexit. So B-E-X-E-T, which I believe is the first of the waypoints of the nat track. So we have an initial point outside of the official entrance of the nat track, and then we have the nat track entrance, which is going to be today Dogal, D-O-G-A-L, D-O-G-A-L, Dogal. And that will be the first point of our nat track. From there we have the North Atlantic crossing track, which is all done in north and west coordinates. We'll fill that in actually as we're climbing, and I'll go over that as we're climbing, but usually how they have this is they usually fill it up right to the entrance, just so if there's any changes, they haven't put all that work in. So we're just going to fill it up to Dogal right now, which will get us taken off and up to our cruise level, and while we're doing that, we'll be able to fill in more. So we're just going to leave that there. Going to go to our preference page here. We're still taking off with flaps 1, which should give us a V1 of 138, a rotate of 138, and a V2 of 142. And V2 is our safe speed for us to keep on going. So that is all up. Our initialization page is up. Like I said, our preference page is all good to go. I think we're pretty much good to go across the board with everything else. It's saying that their optimal is 390, but I'm not so sure about that. We're going to keep it 360, maybe go up to 37 once we enter the nat track. So from here, we're actually good to go. I'm going to come over here and close the doors because it's asking me to close the doors. That's what that beeping has been in the background. So aircraft doors, close the front left, close the aft left, and closing the cargo door. And now that everything is good to go, we should have the...
Okay, let's do the
there we go.
before start checklist.
Windows and doors?
Closed and locked.
APU,
Set on.
APU bleed,
So now it's starting up our APU, and that will give us a chance to start our engines. So you can see the APU down here spooling up. Once it gets to an end percentage of 100, it will kick in. So you can see it slowly climbing here. And of course, the APU is a small little engine in the back of the plane that allows us to start the engines, to provide power, not only when you're on the ground disconnected from ground power, but if you ever had an emergency, it's an extra engine that can provide critical power to instruments. If, let's say, we lose an engine or two, we can have the APU on to provide us power. So it's almost ready here. There it goes. It's now available.
Set on.
external power,
And we'll
Disconnected and
disconnect
off.
the external power.
cabin signs,
Set on.
thrust levers,
Idle.
parking brake,
Set on.
barrel reference,
Checked. 1016.
1016, check. Beacon lights,
Set on.
checklist complete.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here because I think there's a setting that I need to go enable right here. It'll make sure, because I always have to, I had to change this setting. Yep, there we go. We'll have AES GSX pushback, which we will use right now as we get ready to push back. So we're going to prepare for pushback and departure, and we'll let the pushback tug come into place. It'll push us back, and then we should have a nice, it should actually be a pretty short taxi out to the runway today as well. We won't have a long taxi in like we had coming over. So other than that, we're pretty good to go. I think our expected landing runway is 6 right, 4 right, something like that. It's one of the outermost runways. So we're ready for pushback here, and we'll let it do its thing. It will push us back, and then we will start our engines as we're pushing back. Maybe. There it goes. So it's a small airport here. There's not a lot of gates. I know it says gate 30, but they're all like small gates. They don't have very many large aircraft coming in here. So here's our marshal that will be assisting us in the pushback today. He has his hand signals that will be used.
Parking brakes released.
So parking brakes will get released, and we will start pushing back. Now, I usually wait a little bit to try to start spooling up my engines, because if I start spooling up the engines right as we're pushing back, they're going to be on and idling forever. So we'll have to see how well this works. And I'm not sure how this is going to push us back either. I've never done GSX pushback at Shannon, so I have no clue how far it's going to push us back. But I think we'll be ready right now to start engine number 2. So here we go.
Starting engine 2.
Starting engine 2. So we're pushing back. You can see our ground service vehicles as we're pushing back too. There's our air stairs. Oops. There's our air stairs. There's the cargo loader up there. Engine 2 is coming alive. One thing that I don't like about Airbus aircraft, even though I like this plane, what I don't like in general about Airbus aircraft is that it has side sticks, and the side sticks don't give any tactile feel back. So that's one thing that I like about Boeing aircraft, is that it has a feedback system for the pilots, where these are just kind of joysticks, like you're playing a video game. So we'll start engine 1.
Starting number 1.
As it pushes us back. Hopefully it won't push us back into the grass. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure how or where this is pushing us back. So maybe I'll manually stop it. I'm not sure where it's pushing us here. Might just have to manually tell it to stop here. So we're going to set our parking brake.
Parking brakes are stabilized.
And the engine's stabilized. So from here, we're going to do a right turn and then another right turn, and then we'll be direct out to the runway. So it'll be a nice quick taxi. We got to wait for our marshaller now. He's coming back under the plane, and when he gets done from under the plane down here, where he's disconnecting everything, the pushback tug we'll see go back into its position, and he will step aside and we'll power on out. So we're gaining our control of the aircraft now because they had control over our front wheel.
The after start checklist, please.
There's the guy coming out here.
Engine mode selector.
Set.
APU bleed.
Set off.
APU master.
Set off.
Round spoilers.
Set.
Rudder trim.
Check 0.
Pitch trim.
Set.
Flight controls.
So here we go. Full left.
Full left.
Full right.
Full right.
Neutral.
Neutral.
Full up.
Full up.
Full down.
Full down.
Neutral.
Neutral. Rudder.
Rudder left.
Full left.
Rudder right.
Full right.
And neutral.
Neutral.
All right.
Check. Flaps.
Flaps will be coming down to position 1.
Flaps 1.
Anti-ice.
Off.
You don't need it today.
ECAM status.
Checked.
ECAM door page.
Checked.
Hand signal.
Received.
Checklist complete.
Cool, cool. So we are ready to get out of here now. We can initiate our taxi. So parking brake is coming off. We're going to give it just the slightest amount of power here as we turn to the right and join the taxiway. Or there's not really a taxiway here. That's one of the weird things here, is that they don't have really good defined taxiways. It's kind of like, well, you should be over kind of here. And I've looked at the charts too. It's not. It's something that they have.
Nose light.
Set on.
Brake check.
Pedal press 0.
Okay.
Check. Auto brakes.
Max.
Takeoff data.
Reviewed.
FCU.
Checked.
Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. TO config.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Cool, cool. So once we get close to the end of the runway here, we will do our before takeoff procedures, and we'll be good to go. Again, we are flying on the VATSIM network. No official ATC with us today, unfortunately. They're not around this morning because it's really early Monday morning. Maybe we'll see the Oceanic controller come on. Maybe if there's an Oceanic controller on, we'll actually show you some Oceanic procedures. But for right now, it probably won't end up being that way. And I think I forgot how to get to the runway. No. Yeah. I think we're good. I believe this is the yeah, this is the runway. This is the runway right here. So we could either taxi down left, or we can taxi straight onto the runway to the right, which will do that. So we're gonna taxi straight onto the runway here.
Flight attendant, seats for takeoff, please.
Do our before start
Before
checklist.
takeoff checklist, please.
Brake temperature.
Checked.
Brake fans.
Off.
Engine mode selector.
Check normal.
TCAS.
TARA, tilt above.
Exterior lights.
Set on.
Sliding tables.
Stowed.
Stowed. Checklist complete.
Cool. All right, we're ready for takeoff, so we're going to give it about 20%. Let the engine spool up, and toga.
Takeoff. Man toga, SRS, and runway.
Check.
So
Power set.
I think we're pretty good here for the takeoff. We don't need to really use the whole entire runway because we are a small aircraft, and even though we are packed
100
tight,
knots.
Checked.
we have a low takeoff weight today. So here we go. Getting close to rotate speed.
V1.
All right, rotate. So here we go. We're going to unstick from the ground.
Positive climb.
And we've got a positive
Gear up.
climb.
Gear up.
Nav.
Check.
I'm going to manually fly this for a little bit because why not? Now that we're safely off the ground.
Climb thrust.
I'm going to give it to climb thrust. Yep.
Gear is up. Lights off.
Gave it climb thrust. And so now it's just a matter of taking off here. It's actually a really good takeoff here as we climb over Ireland and the city of Shannon. I think it's the city of Shannon, right? All of you people who live over in Ireland can probably tell me that. So we're kind of just doing a nice climb up. I'm not worried about the altitude restriction for takeoff because we are controlling ourselves pretty much up to climb, so we don't need to have anything to do with ATC, so we don't need that restriction. So it'll be just a nice climb up, so we're getting ready for a nice tight left-hand turn here as we begin. Yep, here we go. Still controlling it manually, just following the green line on our nav display down there. That's that center display. As we take this left-hand turn to Nepog, it's called. So we're still continuing our climb here. I know I'm taking this a little bit sharper than it's recommending, but it's still a nice turn nonetheless. As we come up here, and we'll end up having to make a little bit sharper turn as we line up with Nepog. I'm probably not following the departure procedure to the letter, but pretty close. I say good enough for flight simulation work. So you can see we're climbing above the clouds here. Those same clouds that we had when we were coming in are the same clouds that we're having when we're going out. It's actually fun to hand fly aircraft every once in a while because I think a lot of pilots actually lose that. They're just like, okay, we're off the ground, set the autopilot, let's do this thing, let's hurry up and blah. But nah. So we're coming up here to line up with that. So our auto throttle is on. That's the only thing that we have on right now. I'm still controlling the aircraft here as we got turned right on to where we need to go. Look at that. I am the master of climbing out. There we are climbing out the airport down there to our bottom left. The bay out there, probably a few golf courses. Some Greenlands everywhere. Just got those nasty, nasty clouds. Good thing we didn't have any rain on the way out, but we had those nasty, nasty clouds. So I think we'll hand fly this up to 10,000, and then from 10,000, I'll let the autopilot take it over. So I think we'll do that right about now.
Autopilot is going on.
Oh. We're having some issues. Apparently it wants to climb. We don't have the speed to do it. Yes, 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 I know. Okay. So we're getting the speed back here. We'll put it max continuous for right now. I don't know why it wanted to do that. So let's try this again.
Autopilot is going on.
Oh, the flaps.
Flap 0.
Why are the flaps still
And the
down?
after takeoff checklist,
What happened to
please.
there?
Engine mode selector.
Check normal.
I don't know why flaps
Spoilers?
didn't come up. It should have had it come up.
Flaps.
Check retracted.
Landing gear.
Gear up. Lights off.
Exterior lights.
Set off.
Packs.
Both on.
Anti-eyes.
Off.
TCAS.
Checked.
Altimeter.
Standard.
Checklist complete.
So I don't know why I was thinking as we were climbing out, I'm like, I'm doing a great climb out, and then I realized that it hadn't done like the after takeoff checklist for some reason. Okay, that was an oops. I don't know why that didn't kick in a lot earlier, but it has now, and we're still climbing. We're doing pretty good. Nope, we didn't endanger anybody live. Don't worry. I took manual control of both the engines and the leveled off the plane, and we continued off, but we're doing just fine. You didn't see that. Don't worry, you didn't see that. So now we're on our climb on up to our cruising flight level of 360 today. So we better start doing it. So you can see our entry point's about 200 miles out, and if we were going to be having ATC across the Atlantic Ocean, now is about the time when we would get our clearance to cross the Atlantic. 'Cause they're special oceanic controllers. You need to contact them for clearance while you're in the air. And unfortunately, since there isn't any on, we'd kind of just get a blanket clearance. But if there was one on, we'd be able to go through that whole extra step, which is completely awesome. So we're pretty good here. Let's go ahead and continue work on our FMC here. Because that was one thing that I told you guys we would do, is continue our work on the FMC, because we don't have our entire flight plan in here. We only have up to Dogal. So let me consult the flight plan here. So from Dogal, we're taking Nat Delta, and that's north 53 and 020. Oops. North 53 and west 020, and boom. Oops. Oh, right. Yeah, we need to do it this way, I think. I always forget how this works, so it's Nat D1, and it's 5300 slash, it's probably north 5300 slash 020 02000 west. As a Latin law? Nope, bad format. I always forget how to do this. Ah, stupid Airbus aircraft. It's like, here, I can look here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it looks like that. Okay, I need to put it at the end rather than the front. So we'll try this again. We'll put, what is it? 53 north. Nope. 53 north slash 020 west. Boom. It's not in the database. So it's 53. It's actually, since we're on Nat Delta, so it's Nat Delta 1, so it's our first waypoint. It's 5300.0 north slash 02000 west. Enter. No, what? Do I really have to add the point? 020 0.0 west. Boom. Hey, look at that. Okay. So that's what we have to do for pretty much every waypoint. So now it's nat. I think we can just do nat D2. And I'll ask us. So for a second waypoint is 52 north. And it's 030 west. And then we have nat D3. Oh no. No. There's only two, right? Did I do that right? Dogle, nat delta 5320, 5230. This is 5230, right? 5230. Oh, look at that. Because I forgot it's a revised route or a shortened route, there's usually about 4 to 5 navigational points. We only have 2. So from here, it's to Nixo, N-I-C, S-O. Then to, I don't know if this is going to work. It's November 144 Charlie. I don't know if that's going to work. Nope, that does not work. I don't know what that point is. That's a weird point that they have. Then to Brad, so it's B-R-A-D-D. B-R-A-D-D. We want the one in the northern hemisphere. Then it's Plym, P-L-Y-M-M. P-L-Y-M-M. And then it's our arrival. Today, or we will be arriving on, I think it's 4 right. Need to double check that to make sure it's 4 right. So let me see here, 4 right. Yes, 4 right. Yes, we're doing ILS 4 right. So ILS 4 right, and we're coming off of Parch. The Parch 1, and no transition off the Parch 1 because it's kind of a radar vectors, and voila! Our FMC is set. And as we keep on climbing, we're pretty good to go. I mean, this is the takeoff, and we'll just be kind of confirming our altitude all the way up, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Since we finished putting in our flight plan, now it's kind of just babying the aircraft across the ocean until we get ready for landing. So I'll leave it here, guys. I won't pressure you anymore, but I'll pick up with you guys at our top of descent as we get ready to descend into John F. Kennedy. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Creighton Miller, and I'll see you guys in probably a second or two. Welcome back, guys. This is the United States of America. As you can see down below, we have finished our oceanic crossing. We have finished crossing over Canada, and now we are heading into the great state of New York, and we are getting ready for our descent. Our descent prep starts in about 8 miles, and it's a nice descent all the way down to final. And we'll have to do some vectoring of ourselves, but it's due to be a pretty good descent. So our co-pilot will be kicking in here in just a second, and I need to just verify here, as I get my controls back with me, that there's some flight plan stuff in here. Yep, okay, cool. I just need to make sure that there was some restrictions in here for our descent, which there are. We're going to be crossing Calverton, which is Charlie, 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 at 12,250 knots, and Rober at 250 knots and 9,000, and that's what we're doing. So we're all good to go here, and we're just about ready to start our descent prep checklist as we get on up into here. So we'll get ready for our descent, since top of descent's right now. So we'll come and we'll bring it down. I think our last altitude will be about 3,000
Okay, let's go through the
feet.
descent preparation checklist.
Seatbelt signs,
Auto.
anti-ice,
Off.
landing information,
Received.
altimeter,
Standard.
baro radio.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Okay,
Initiating descent.
and we're going to be initiating our
FMA
descent
check.
here.
Radar tilt.
Set below.
Cool. So that's getting all set up here. I just want to make sure one thing here. It wants us 37,000, so yeah, 3,000 should be good for us on the arrival. Like I said, I think we're going to still be landing 4 right in JFK. Let me just double check the METAR here, because it can always update on us. And I had taken it about 2 hours ago. Let's see, it's 200 at Niner. Yeah, let's still land runway 4. It's still going to be a preferred landing runway for me, although I think they're using the 22s. So we might change it up here for the 22s. I need to, yeah, let's go ahead and do a mid-flight a mid-flight change here as I just look at my charts real quick just to make sure. 22s, yeah, we can do that. ILS 22 left. If it's available, we will do it. It should be, so come down here to arrival. ILS 22 left, right there. We still want to be on the Parch 1 where we are. Alright. So let's see how that changes us up here in our flight plan, which I don't think it will be doing a lot, but we'll have to take ourselves off our vector a little bit earlier. So we go from Rober, and you can see we've just started our descent here. Our Rober to our first ILS waypoint. So I'm just going to bring up the ILS chart here for 22 left. ILS localizer runway 22 left. First point is Rosley. So there's some points in here that I can take out. So Rober will go direct to Rosley. So you can take that out, and we can take that out. Take that out, direct to Rosley. So the manual's in there, meaning we manually will bring ourselves to Rosley after Rober. Yeah? Yeah. Pretty good here in Rosley. We want to cross at 3,000, so we're still going to be good there. So I think we're still good to go here. Just going to manage this as we're on our descent. Just making sure everything is all good to go. And it is. So from Rober, direct to Rosley, Phantasmo. As we continue our descent into New York, it is quite cloudy. Let me go look at that METAR again. I'll get you filled in here, because I think we need to fill in some more information on our FMC, and that information is going to be our destination QNH of 30.05. I actually might need to convert that. Yeah, I will need to convert that. But I'll put in our temperature at least, because that's in Celsius, which is 27. And I'll put in the QNH in a little bit, just because I need to do a conversion. Because unfortunately, Aerosoft's Airbus aircraft only does hectopascals instead of inches of mercury, like the U.S., and you can't change that. So any U.S. inches of mercury that are used, you have to convert it into hectopascals, which is just a tad bit of a change. But we shouldn't have to be worrying today. I mean, it's pretty nice. It's warm, 27 degrees Celsius. It's high pressure, so we might be clear. We'll break out of the clouds at about 5,500 feet, because we have some broken at 2,500 feet, which is those clouds right below us. Then at 14,000 feet, and then 5,500 feet. But we've got great statute mile visibility. It's moderate wind. I think we should be good for the approach. We've used a ton of fuel on our flight over, of course, because we're crossing with a nice headwind. We actually started, as soon as we got to top of climb, we started with a pretty good headwind, and we had to kind of compensate for that by going a little bit higher than I had originally planned. I think I said we were going to be around about a 340, 360. I ended up having to go up to 380 to get above some of the strong headwinds that we were receiving. So as you can see, the New York coastline straight ahead of us here as we continue on down through 26,000 feet. We'll be parking at Terminal 7 today, is our reported terminal that we will be parking at. So that will be another chart that I will have to bring up momentarily once we land, because I think Terminal 7's all the way, yep. So they don't, it doesn't park on the normal terminal that a lot of the international arrivals come into. The normal international arrivals will come into Terminal 4. But because we're such a special aircraft, we're actually be coming into Terminal 7, which I believe is shared with United. No, American. It's shared with one of the two. United or American, one of the two. I think it'll be pretty busy on the approach as well. Since JFK is one of the more populous airports in VATSIM, so we'll have to be wary of our traffic around. We've already got some traffic on our nav display here. It looks like he's below us, but he'll be climbing above us. He's probably climbing out, probably going over to the UK while we're coming into the UK. It is, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock New York time right now, so we're coming in right in the early afternoon. That should be fantastic for all these business travelers that are aboard to be able to get their business done. I believe the last BA flight out of New York is like at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, maybe 11 o'clock. So that gives them certainly enough time to hop into New York, do what they need to do, and then get on the plane back out. Because this plane does turn around in New York. It turns into Speedbird 2, I believe, but that's the afternoon flight. This will actually turn into this particular plane should actually turn into Speedbird, I believe it's Speedbird 4. And that will service a later night flight from New York to London City, getting in bright and early in the morning. Or I believe afternoon. Afternoon? Morning? One of those days. Point is, they have two A318s that basically cross back and forth. So when one leaves New York, the other one leaves London City. When one leaves London City, the other one leaves New York. So just going to go back and forth and back and forth. And like I said in part 1 of this video, there's only 2 of these aircraft. So if they have to take one out of service, they're kind of running this specialized route. I mean, this is a very specialized route with just one aircraft. So it's a nice view as we're coming down to. I have FS Dream Team's New York scenery, so it should look very nice as we're coming in. Hopefully no out-of-memory errors. I haven't had too bad of luck with out-of-memory errors And this aircraft in combination, usually I get it in combination with like my PMDG 777 is when I usually get the really bad errors. But not today, I don't think. We'll be pretty good here coming in this morning. Technically, it's still morning for another hour. Right on time, actually, with our the real-life BA flight. The real-life BA flight, I believe, gets in at about noonish, noon to 1-ish, is its average. We kind of did a little bit faster turnaround in Shannon than they did. So to kind of catch up with the actual aircraft departure time, which I don't think I mentioned it when I took off. We took off pretty much about when it took off. Maybe about a 5 or 10 minute delay, which is pretty good. So, I mean, all we're doing right now is just babying down the aircraft. A lot of our main work will happen right when we start turning from rover. From rover, we will start prepping for arrival, which I've already pretty much done. We're expecting runway 22. It should be a good landing. No gusts, no significant weather. Traffic will always be a factor. Any low-flying birds will be a factor. We don't want to become another. We don't want to become another one of those flights. Like I said, we're arriving at Terminal 7. Normally, all of the international flights come out of Terminal 4 because they're international flights. Terminal 4 is dedicated for international flights. Even the other BA flights will come out of Terminal 4. But we're going to Terminal 7 just because we've got a special arrangement. Plus, we've got specifically business passengers, only a maximum of 32 of them. So immigration doesn't have too hard of a time dealing with 32 passengers. So we're coming across our first restricted waypoint here, which is Calverton, which is Charlie, 12,250, which we're going to meet. And we're going to then start our descent, and I believe Rober will cross at 9,000, and then I'll manually bring in our descent after Rober. So yep, here we go. We're turning here. You can see this flight's only 8.25 hours already. Normally this flight's longer. We didn't have as strong of a headwind that we usually have over the Atlantic, so it's kind of helped us with a nice fast crossing. Plus we've taken, like I said, we've taken a more direct route today. If we didn't have taken a route, we'd actually be closer to being a 8 to 9 hour flight rather than a 7-hour flight. So we've caught up some time due to the weather today. And the weather over the Atlantic always brings flights in at different times. Because due to the Atlantic winds, it could be a longer flight if they have to do a more northern route, or a shorter flight if they have to do a more southern route. So it really depends upon what kind of weather that they're having. It could be anything and everything. Today we lucked out. We got some good weather. We got a nice direct route, meaning it was a nice short flight. Typically a lot longer than this, but we got a nice short flight today. So here we are. We're continuing our descent down. And once we start this right turn, I will I'll take over some manual elevation control, and we'll continue our descent down to 3,000 feet to intercept with the glide slope. That is what we want to be at by our next point after Rober, which will bring us onto ILS 22 left, which is the preferred landing runway. When they're in this configuration, you usually take off the inside runways and land the outer runways. So because 22 left and right are right next to each other. 22 right is the inner runway, and 22 left is the outer. The outer runway, 22 left, is our preferred landing runway at JFK.
Passing 10,000 feet.
Lights on.
On.
So now we're passing 10,000 feet. Our landing lights will come on. All of our lights that were off that we didn't need in the cruise phase are now coming on to make us a little bit more visible. Of course, it's daytime, so we're already pretty visible, but it just gives us that extra little bit of, hey, we're out here. Don't run us over, please, because we're a small aircraft. We look pretty much out of place when it comes to coming into New York, because if you were to look at New York and all the international aircraft, they're huge Airbus A330s, or they're 777s, 767s. We're just this dinky little A318. We're smaller than a 737, and they're like, what are you doing over here? And they're just like, oh, we're just having some fun. All right, so I'm going to take over manual control here, and we're going to continue a nice gradual descent. Well, we will meet our 9,000 at Rober, as we are right now. And we are turning, I guess you could call this our base leg turning. And we'll continue on down. And it will bring us 3,000 right at our intercept point. I don't think we have the optimal intercept point, but it will do just fine for us. I mean, even bring us in a little bit lower just to meet it. So like at 2,800 feet, so that it gives us time to turn and get lined up. So beautiful New York, very, very beautiful. There's the coastline down there. There's a really cool visual approach, and I believe it's called the Parkway visual that we could do. I don't feel like doing the Parkway visual. Plus, I think it's for the other end of the runway. But the visual approaches into New York are pretty cool. If you know how to fly them and you have all the visual markers, they look pretty cool when you come in. But we're just going to do a standard ILS approach today, as it's kind of a bland day, really. So we're in the clouds right now, kind of descending through. There's those, what are they, 5,500 feet cloud? No, yeah, we're kind of, those clouds over there are about 5,500 feet, so you can see we're getting lower and lower. The graphics in this game are just fantastic, by the way. Everything's modeled pretty well in this. Kind of nice, big-ass, puffy cloud right there. We'll de-accel at some point to get caught up with our approach. But as soon as we're established, I'll take over manual control. And then we'll guide it down from manual control. So it should start lowering our flaps here in about 15 miles or so. So our approach checklist is going to come in at about 5 miles, which will prepare us for our approach and everything that's set up for it. So I believe our QNH, like I said, is going to be 1017 was the conversion. There we go. Okay. Perfect. You can see we're going to have a pretty nice intercept, actually. Maybe a little bit unoptimal, but I think we'll be doing pretty well here. We'll be nice and low, able to make some changes if we need to, able to do anything that we need to correct as we pop in. Now, I might get some lag spikes as we get closer to JFK as it loads in the scenery.
Checklist.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Sliding tables.
Stowed.
Stowed. Cabin signs.
Checked.
Nav accuracy.
Checked.
Barrel reference.
Checked. 1, 0,
Standard.
1,
Checklist complete. 1, 0, 1, 3.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing.
Oops. There we go. All right, cool, cool. So that was our approach checklist. We're getting close. We've already got our ILS data coming up here. The airport's off to our left, right about there, so. And we'll turn to line up here in a minute. A little bit hazy today, this morning, I guess. But we'll be good to go. Might have a little bit of fog on the approach, although it was saying visibility was 10 statute miles, so we'll see. We'll definitely be able to see the runway pretty early with no issues. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Not worried at all. Looks like a big, beautiful day in New York State during the wonderful summer months, because we are technically in summer still. In August, summer. Five miles from our turn, which will put us right on the approach, and that's when we'll.
Flaps 1.
Speed check, flaps 1.
There we go. So flaps coming out now, giving us a little bit more lift as we slow down. So we'll be nice and slow on the approach. If this was a busy airport, we'd be kind of being queued up in a line, probably vectored around, given speed restrictions, altitude restrictions, restrictions as we come in. But because it's a light airport, I mean, I'm looking at the radar here, we're not seeing any traffic, so it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot to worry about as we come in. But we'll have to be wary of anybody announcing their departures. It's about 2 miles here. We're going to take a nice left turn. That's when I'm going to activate the localizer. As soon as I see this pop, this start to pop to the left, is when I will do the localizer. And she should announce localizer live. See if she does. So here's our left turn now. And a localizer live. Localizer
Glide
live.
slope alive.
Oh, there's a glide slope. Where's the localizer though? There's
Localizer alive.
Alright, localizer is alive. And so we've kind of told it to capture the localizer. So now it will use that radio signal to line us up with the runway now, which it's doing perfectly. Oh, that turn was just perfect, actually. And we'll put it into approach mode, and what it will do is it'll capture the glide slope as it comes to capture it. And we'll start our descent down. It should capture it in about 3, 2...
Localizer captured.
The localizer's captured. Glide slope captured. There we go.
Glide slope captured.
There we go. Now we're starting our descent.
2,500.
2,500 feet above the ground. Flaps will start coming out a little bit quicker now, I believe. About 7 miles, 7 track miles to the runway.
Speed check, flaps 2.
So flaps 2's coming out here. Got somebody taxiing to 22 right, so we're gonna be good. We don't need them. So there's the
Gear
airport
down.
Gear down.
coming into view. Gears coming down, giving us a little bit more drag. That's okay because it's being compensated with our flaps, giving us a little bit more lift
Flaps 3.
as we slow down.
Speed check. Flaps 3.
Those flaps do just wonders when you're trying to get a
And
nice and
flaps full,
slow
please.
approach.
Speed check. Flaps full.
Landing checklist, please.
Landing gear.
Down and lock. 3 green.
Ground spoilers.
Checked and armed.
Auto brakes.
Medium.
Exterior lights.
On.
Go around altitude.
Checked.
Landing memo.
Checked. And no blue.
Checklist complete.
Now I don't seem to have the PAPI lights, but that's okay. I'm going to take over.
Autopilot off.
I'm going to take over manual control here as we continue our descent. I don't have the PAPI lights, so I'm following the ILS indicators on the approach. PAPI lights should be coming into view here in a second. Maybe then they could be pretty dim here. That's probably why. So we're a little bit fast. And a little high, but I'm not worried. We'll catch up with it pretty soon here. There are the PAPI lights. Okay. Right on track. I just need to pull the nose up just a tad.
400.
Might land a little bit right of the center line, but we're okay.
300 above. $200 minimum.
Continue.
Continue.
$100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10, 5.
That should give us a nice
Ground
soft
spoilers.
impact on the ground.
Reverse green.
Reverse green. To come past 80 knots, we can
70
take
knots.
the reverse off. And with that,
Auto brakes off.
auto brakes are off. And we're going to taxi off to the right here. Welcome to New York. There we go. Sorry I was quiet on the approach. You got to concentrate on your arrival, and I did, and we did exceptionally
And
well.
for landing
On.
checklist, please.
Exterior lights.
Checked.
Ground spoilers.
Set off.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
Flaps.
Checked retracted.
TCAS.
Checked standby.
Brake temperature.
Checked.
APU.
On.
Checklist complete.
Oh, there's an aircraft taking off right there. Looks like a JetBlue aircraft. So there you guys go. That's our flight into New York. Now all we have to do is find a parking spot at Terminal 7, which will be quite a taxi down. I saw a Delta aircraft. Where is he? There he is. We should be able to cross before he gets in. This is the wonderful FS Dream Team, John F. Kennedy Airport. Looks fantastic. I'm sure, I think this is up to date as of like 2014, 2013. So it's pretty up to date, I think. I'm not sure how much they've done in renovation-wise, but thus far. So we're going to cross. We're going to use the outer taxiways of Bravo to go around to Terminal 7. So we want to join this taxiway to our right, which we will, and use it to taxi around. You can see New York is a very flat state. I live in a very hilly state. It's very different from where I live. They got more hills over here than they do over there in New York. So we're just gonna power around here, staying at a maximum of about 20 ground speed, so we don't break anything. There's the terminals there with the terminal buildings and the cars around. It's not a very busy airport today. This morning, everybody's just waking up, so they don't want to get on flight sim first thing in the morning, or they probably have work or school because it's a work day. I'm technically working because I'm making a video, so you can call this kind of work. Maybe it's fun work. I like doing this work, but it's work. So we want to follow this around. Let's see, upcoming Foxtrot. So we want to make it nice. Let's see if we can catch this Delta aircraft. Nope, can't. Already started taking off. I think I kind of know exactly where BA parks, so we'll be getting pretty close to where this aircraft will be coming in here. It's along the eastern side of John F. Kennedy that their gate is. Like I said, I believe it's shared with American. It's either American or it's United. I can't remember which one. I believe it's American though, because they're one world. All these alliances and shared code shared and bleh. But it should indicate on the terminal building. So there's that's Terminal 5 right there. That's the east side of Terminal 5, and we'll be coming up. I'm going to turn left at Victor Alpha is where we want to turn left at, which is in 3 more turns. Whoop, getting a little bit off here. So there's Whiskey Alpha. Next one will be Whiskey. And the next one will be Victor Alpha. We had Victor Alpha, slight right turn to Victor Victor, and then into the gate. So there's Whiskey. There's our Whiskey. Not the drink, but the phonetic alphabet. Get that straight. Kids under 21, don't drink. Don't smoke. Listen to your parents. Let's see how else I can lose subscribers. Yeah. So here's our turn in to Victor Alpha. And then a left to Victor Victor. Or a right. And then a left to Victor Victor. And we're going to come into this gate right here. On the left. Not this one. What is that? That's like a double gate. It's weird. So I want this one right here because it's a nice small gate for us. We're a small aircraft. We'll be coming in, I think. This is like gate 7, I think. Here, I think I can bring up the marshaller. Hold on, let's try this. Let's see, Terminal 7. And I think it's gate 7. Nope, I lied. Whatever. Ah, no! Continue. That's not what I wanted. I want to get out of this. Get out of there. Go away. Okay, there we go. Okay, just pull forward. Just gonna pull forward nice and slow. I was gonna try to get the marshaller up, but apparently the gate that I thought this isn't this gate. So we'll just pull up here. Kind of come into the gate. And I think that'll about do it. So we'll set the parking brake. We'll have this come attached to us, and we'll turn our engines off. So engine 1 and engine 2. Spooling down.
That was a nice flight. So let's do the parking checklist, and then we're done for the day.
Yes, we are done for the day.
Parking brake and chocks.
And the chocks are set. Parking brakes released.
Engine master.
Both off.
Seatbelt signs.
Set off.
Beacon lights.
Set off.
Exterior lights.
Set off.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Set off.
Checklist complete.
Cool, cool, choo! Look at that. Okay, we're gonna open up some doors here. We need the front left, and the back left, and the aft cargo. And we're also gonna put in our external power. So that means we can activate that and turn that off. I'll come outside. And voila, look at that. Eee, welcome to New York, people. We made it in this small plane. But there you guys go. That concludes this 2-part video. I appreciate all of you guys watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff that you guys do. I really enjoy doing flight simulation videos, and I hope I can share even more of them with you. Let me know if there's any routes in the comments that you maybe want me to do, aircraft that you maybe want me to fly, and I'll see if I can do it. Thank you once again so much for watching. Be sure to put a like on this video, and I will see you guys next time.